for joining me for this NYX one brand tutorial. Consider it a drugstore brand because I feel like the prices of the products are similar to what you see in other drugstores. It's too bad that it's not available in more drugstores across the board. I wish I could just go to my Walgreens and pick this stuff up, but I usually get it at Ulta. And in case you're unfamiliar with my one brand looks, I go pretty much every other with high-end and drugstore, and I basically just use all products from one brand in the look so you can see what just those products from just that brand will produce in a full face look. You're gonna see a look that I think I would describe as natural coverage on the face, and then an eye look that's a little more bold, but I mean, I could have gone so much more with this eye look, but I am going grocery shopping later, so I try to keep all of these looks something wearable. Oftentimes I do, you know, I have other things going on in my day and I wear them right out of the house, so I wanted to keep this a look that incorporated color but was still something that I felt good about wearing out. So hope you enjoy the look. For starters, I'm going to take my HD Studio Photogenic foundation. My shade is 03 Natural. I'm just going to start roughly, you know, patching this around my skin. My sunless tanners have kind of worn off, so it's just a little dark, but we're going to make it work. And then just kind of using circular motions, I'm going to blend all over with my Sigma F80 brush. Right up into the hairline, always important with any foundation application. I'm actually a fan of going a little deeper on the foundation. It can really perk up the skin tone starting at the foundation as opposed to putting on as much bronzer or product like that. And that's coming from a news person's perspective when you're under really, really bright lights and you need something to sort of fight the washout effect that those lights can give. Next I've got a NYX concealer in a jar, and this shade is Light. This is kind of a sort of thick cream concealer, so I'm just going to use my fingers with this. I want it to really melt into the skin, so I'm going to be going around my eye area. I'm even kind of doing some preliminary highlighting by just taking some of this lighter shade down my nose and on top of the brows, and then I'm just going to kind of press it into this area around my eye where I've put it here. And it does kind of what you want it to do coverage-wise. I just wish they had a color that was a little more corrective instead of just being light like this one is. Next I'm using the Stay Matte but not flat. It's actually a powder foundation. I'm just going to lightly dust it on as a powder. This is medium beige. I find that when I swatch this powder, like I see a, you know, it's not a totally matte finish. It seems kind of matte on the skin, but like in a swatch you see just a little sheen to the powder. I don't see glitter or anything like that, but it's interesting. I think it has some kind of oil absorbing qualities to it without being a totally matte powder. So I'm using very little powder and just dusting it everywhere over the concealer to kind of set that. And I find that it just enhanced the coverage of everything here with this look. I don't have like an individual NYX bronzer, so I'm going to my Butt Naked Eyes palette where they have some face products here. And I'm going to be using this product, which is kind of like, I would say a medium bronze shade. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of that and just kind of dust that as if to be a bit of a contour just under the cheekbone there, under the jaw as well, and down the neck. Also going to go right around the hairline. That's really important if you want to do any sort of bronzing on the forehead. It's really got to start, like, think about where the sun would hit you, you know, right on top here, and there wouldn't be a line between your hair and, you know, your tan. It would just kind of all blend together. I'm going to use this NYX blush in Mocha. It goes on a little more sheer than that, but I mean, it can pack a punch, and it seems to be kind of a matte blush. Just get that kind of on the outer part of the apple of my cheek and dust it in a little bit upward fashion. So I'm just going to go to the highlight here in the Butt Naked Eyes palette, and it's got a little shimmer. It's kind of what some people might call a candlelight type highlight. So I'm going to go on top of the cheekbones with that. It doesn't seem too sparkly, which I like. Down the nose, I'm going to do a little bit on the Cupid's bow right here. Just like that. I just want to get really close to show you what we're talking about coverage wise here. I don't feel like I've got like the fullest coverage ever, but I feel like it's natural coverage. For example, I have freckles on my cheeks and you can see them through this look. There are some foundations where you wouldn't be able to do that. This is something you could go out of the house and not feel like, oh, am I gonna look like it's too thick or too cakey? It does not look cakey at all. So I just wanted to make that known from an up close perspective. First gonna apply my NYX HD eyeshadow base just all over the lid here. Then I'm taking one of the jumbo pencils in Cottage Cheese, which is kind of a shimmery white shade. And the primary reason why I'm using this is to brighten up the tear duct. So I'm just kind of going around it like that. It does a beautiful job there. And then onto the lid, really light strokes. And then I always dab over these because they're not like long enough wearing to just go on their own or anything, and if you get too much you can get crease. Then I'm going to take this pretty blue. It has kind of like a satin, almost metallic finish. It's called Atlantic, and I'm going to take my flat eyeshadow brush with some of that, tap off the excess because you can't, a little goes a long way here, and I'm going to blot this. And the idea here is to just go all over the lid with this shade. Also patting this up through the crease somewhat. Next I'm taking a deeper shade, and this really has some shimmer to it. This is called Frosted Ocean, and so with that deeper, more like a shimmery navy blue, I'm going to get that on the same brush and pat this on the outer part of the lid. And you might say, well, this is a technique I see you use often, and the reason why is because it looks the best. When I just feel like when the color fades to a deeper shade in the outer corner, there's just something about that that's appealing to me. I like the look, so that's why I do it. And then I'm gonna pull the shadow up. Then I'm gonna take a fluffy brush. It's bare. And I'm just going to blend out the edge of these colors. Then I'm going to move on to a highlight shade called Aloha, one of my favorite light colors here. I'm going to take a small brush. We're going to top off. Remember, we put that cream pencil there, so we're going to top that off. And then kind of carry that over so we're slightly overlapping the blue. So we're going to look like we're going from the lightest blue to deeper. I'm going to take this all the way under pretty much on our lower lash line here. You may need to clean off your crease brush a little bit. Take a little bit of Aloha and dust that right under the brow. I'm going to go to a shade I love. It's called Burgundy Pearl, one of my first NYX shades, and I continue to love it to this day. So just get a little bit on the tip of your brush and get ready for a gorgeous pink blend here, right from the blue to the pink. It warms up a look that would have otherwise been a very just cool blue look, but we've popped it. For liners, I'm going to be using the NYX Slide On Liner in Jet Black. I'm going to be using this on the upper lash line and just take that all the way across. You can see these go on with little to no effort. I am just going to kind of extend the line just a bit. Just like that at the outer edge. Can you tell I'm having fun with this look yet? We're gonna go in with some blue. This shade is called Sunrise Blue, and this is gonna go on the inner rim. And this will be the extent of our lower liner, and I love this on the inner rim because you can tell it's blue there. I love that. It's gonna make the whites of your eyes look even brighter. And then I'm going just on top of the black. Just drawing it on top, and it's just going to intensify the blue look we've got going on. Next, I'm going to curl the lashes. And the mascara I have is called Le Frou, volume and length. So I haven't had this for long. I got this really especially for this tutorial. So really this is kind of like priming the lashes for some false eyelashes. So I put this on. Then I'm going to be using some NYX false eyelashes, and these are number 119. The style is called Gorgeous, and I've really trimmed these up a lot. They were just really long for my eye for some reason. I don't usually have to trim down false eyelashes, but just going to put some Revlon Precision Lash Glue all along the band. Just going to pop these right on the lash line here, and then secure it at the outside, the inside. For lips, we're gonna go with a nice pink lip. I'm using this Mega Shine lip gloss in Beige. Funny how it's called Beige, huh? And I have a blog, actually, a recent blog post I did with my top 5 NYX Mega Shine lip glosses, because you know I love this formula so much, so you can check that out for some favorites. I'm taking one of the jumbo lip pencils. This is in Narcisse or Narcisse. It's a nice dark berry color. I'm almost like lining the lips. I'm gonna keep it a little lighter on the inner part. And then I'm just gonna dab a little bit of the lip gloss again right in the center. So now I just want to sort of recap for you what I thought of all these products, because you saw them in action but you didn't necessarily get a review. So here's the little review section. Starting off with the HD Studio Photogenic Foundation. I show you in that close-up look, you could see that this is not what I would consider a full coverage foundation, but I would call it natural coverage, kind of like medium. If your purpose for foundation is to cover up a lot of freckles, sunspots, extreme blotchiness in your coloration, this may not be enough for you. If you've got pretty even skin overall and you want something to just enhance that a little bit, I really like this foundation. I feel like I would compare it a little bit to Revlon Photo Ready, except I don't notice all the sparkle going on in this, which I really like. Concealer, NYX concealer in a jar. I like this stuff. I wish they came out with just a salmon tone that would be a little more corrective for those blue toned under eye circles, but the coverage is really good. I think the key is to not use too much, because I could see this kind of building up in fine lines because it does have that thickness to it. Stay matte but not flat powder foundation. This is pretty cool, and I haven't used it purely as a powder foundation. I've used it as sort of a topper or setting type powder for the foundation, and I love the finish that it gives, and I think it's responsible for a lot of the overall finish you're seeing here that is just not completely matte, but it is coverage. So it's interesting. I probably couldn't point out a lot of powders like this that manage to do what this does without the flecks of glitter. I think it's kind of a nice description on the title of this powder, Stay Matte But Not Flat. The bronzer and the highlight that I used were out of my Butt Naked Eyes palette, so I'm sorry I can't tell you exactly. Yeah, these haven't been named specifically, but I used this bronzer, which seems to have a pretty much a matte finish, and then I used this highlight, which is kind of like one of those nice candlelit glow type highlights, and I like them a lot. I really like that bronzer, and I hadn't delved into that one too much until now, and I like the finish it gives. Very natural, good for a medium skin tone person, and the highlight's nice as well. I use that pretty sparingly though with this look. The blush, there's a lot of good blushes actually in this palette, but I love this one. It's called Mocha. It just looks like a wonderful pink. It's matte. It gives just the perfect look to coordinate the lips and the eyes with what I did today. So I love that. I love the NYX HD Eye Primer. Neutralizes discoloration on the lid, helps everything last longer. Don't use too much. Blend it all the way up through the crease, and I think you're gonna like what that does. The jumbo pencils are nice for a color enhancing purpose. In other words, they give you that base that your shadow can really stick to and pop off of, but in terms of wearing these alone, I could not do it. I mean, these are going to crease a lot if you just wear them on their own, so I definitely have to top it with powder, but when I do, I mean, I love the effect, and I love the effect that this one in Cottage Cheese gave right around the inner corner. Eyeshadows. Talk about one of the strengths of the brand. I mean, I just love these shadows. I like the ones that come in sort of the little palettes or the bigger palettes, the Butt Naked Eyes palette, you know, different ones. I just really like the eyeshadows from NYX. I love that deep blue called Frosted Ocean that we used on the outer corner. Always been a huge fan of this Burgundy Pearl shade. I love Aloha for being that little spotlight color where you want to highlight key areas. So, and this blue in Atlantic that we used for our primary blue on the lid is really gorgeous too. So I cannot complain about those shadows. One thing to be aware of is when you put your brush into them, a lot's going to get on there. So I always suggest tapping with these shadows. It's going to decrease the amount of fallout you have, and it's going to just make it more buildable on the eye as opposed to getting too much on all at once. I love the slide-on liners. amazing color variety. Like, you're gonna find colors just like you will with the Urban Decay 24/7 liners. So like in this look, I had an awesome blue that's really popping in the waterline and a great black called Jet Black. So I would really suggest looking into those for something that's gonna go on effortlessly, and in just, you know, a matter of seconds, it's going to set for you and not move. Not so much impressed by this particular mascara, and NYX mascaras are something I just have not gotten into. I mean, I haven't tried any except for this. So Frou, I love the name, but this didn't do much for my lashes. The false lashes, I'm also kind of on the fence about, because while I like what I trimmed these into, I feel like the band is very stiff, and it makes it kind of hard to sort of work with them, and I wish it was just a little more flexible so I could get it exactly where I wanted it on my lash line. I just struggled a little bit more with like placing these on. Lip products, couple of my favorite things from the brand. Love the jumbo lip pencils, just great color, and the Mega Shine glosses. You know how I feel about these. These are fantastic. They feel good. They come in a huge color range, and the color range is something great about this brand as a whole. If you want a certain lip color, lip gloss, I mean, it's there in this brand. They also have a great line of lipsticks, which I didn't use in this video, but they're called round lipsticks, and they have limitless color selection there too. So basically what I want to get at here is that I love the NYX shadows and liners. I love the NYX lip products. Blushes and things like that I really like too. So the color cosmetics are great. And something I'm just now, I feel like, getting into are the face products, like this foundation, like this powder. I think they're good for getting a natural look on the skin without going too overboard. For some people, that's exactly what you want. For some people who need more coverage for certain reasons, that's not what you want. You know, you want something a little bit more. Staying power wise, I'm happy with these two for me. And I don't have overly oily skin, especially this time of year. In the summer, I may have to try these again and then report back as to how well this held up when I get a little more oily in the T-zone. So I hope you learned a few things in this tutorial about what it will look like if you just use NYX products and you didn't grab any other favorites in your collection, but just stuck to one brand, and just see what the look will give you. Let me know what other one brand looks you'd like to see. I mean, this one was largely a requested look, so many people wanted to see NYX, but let me know what brand you want. I alternate between high-end and drugstore. So see you guys later. Bye.